Respected Chairperson, dignitaries and other delegates, good evening. My name is Otashi Chotturaj. I am a lecturer in Dr. Lankapalli Bullaya College, Visakhapatnam, and a part-time PhD scholar in Geetham University, Visakhapatnam. It is an honor and privilege to be a part of this international virtual conference. Today, I'm going to talk about my positive experiences from COVID-19 while reviewing the novel The Mistress of Spices by Chitra Banerjee Divakari. We go to the first slide, please, sir. The next slide. The present period is said to be the Anthropocene epoch, as humans have significantly altered the earth through their activity. Driven by capitalism, the epoch is mockingly also called the Capitalocene, which extracts ruthlessly from nature, thus threatening human experience. Climate variability, ocean acidification, land use change, chemical and waste contamination, uncontrolled urbanization have destabilized the delicate ecosystem, leading to the greatest challenge faced by mankind since the Second World War, the corona pandemic. Studies suggest that COVID-19 is undoubtedly a zoonotic disease in which the virus is genetically transmitted from animals to humans. The reason being, one, human encroachment into animal habitats, forcing them to live in close quarters with each other. Secondly, the neoliberal hedonistic lifestyle, where happiness is an increase in purchasing power and a desire for capitalistic consumption. The disease spread rapidly and became a global pandemic, causing a huge loss of life. The world came to a screeching halt when lockdown was imposed to control the spread of the ailment. Could we go to the next slide, please, sir? Next slide. Thank you. With humans confined to their homes, nature started healing. The birds and animals ventured out and reclaimed their habitat. We heard stories of flamingos flocking to the brackish water of Mumbai and the dolphins coming close to the shore. Clearer and bluer skies, purer air and water were proof how humans were poisoning their own world. The continuing natural life cycle gave a not so subtle hint that life goes on without humans anywhere in the picture. The next slide. Implicit in these narratives is the fact that there can be no development without conservation. But we must be cautious about the tales we narrate. Humans should not end up being in opposition to animals. The binary thought process of development versus conservation, economy versus environment, and humans versus nature has led to the present predicament. Next one, please. In fact, literature has a major role to play in this. Emergent literature should redefine development when nature doesn't get ravaged. It should talk about climate change and teach us how to restore the lost balance. Next one. This is where the importance of my field of study, eco-criticism, comes in. The term was coined by William Ruckert in 1978. It is an interdisciplinary study of ecology and literature. Texts are reread and analyzed to see whether nature is foregrounded in it. I'll give you an example. Can we imagine R.K. Narayan's books without the imaginary city of Malgudi? Would Ruskin Bond's books be as magical without the Himalayan foothills? So the setting becomes very important. Presently, eco-criticism deals with a range of issues, from climate change to toxicity caused by industries to refugee crisis and the penury due to the pandemic. But eco-criticism is not merely a theory. It actively seeks to mitigate the present day ecological and humanitarian problems. So, as a researcher in pursuit of decoding eco-criticism as reflected in literature, the unfolding of the pandemic gave me a clear insight into the need to shift from an anthropocentric mindset to an ecocentric one. In an anthropocentric mindset, we believe we are at the center of the world and we can use the resources as and when we want. But that's not the truth. The pandemic showed that nature was supreme. So we had better have an ecocentric viewpoint when we are just a part of nature. The next one, please. Rereading The Mistress of Spices by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, a well-known diasporic writer, proved apt for the time and context. Let me introduce the writer to you. She is an Indian-American author, a poet, activist, and teacher of writing. Her themes include Indian experience, contemporary America, women, immigration, history, and myth. The Mistress of Spices is a novel which was very, very relevant to the time that we were going through. The next one, please. The author creates the character Tilottama, or Tilo, who cures both physical and emotional ailments of Indian immigrants in America by dispensing herbs and spices from a spice shop in Oakland, California. The novelist skillfully uses myth and magical elements to display the quality of spices. Each of the spices has relevance and a distinct place in Indian cuisine, culture, and medicinal therapy. The next one, please. So while the world grappled with a virus that could not be tackled therapeutically, as there was no specific treatment for the ailment, many turned towards the ancient art of Ayurveda or other alternative healing methods, just like Tilottama, the protagonist. Ayurveda believes that nature has a cellular intelligence aligned with that of humans. These botanical elements, nurtured by sun, air, and water, can be used to treat, heal, nourish the body. And the best part is they are effective, safe, and easily available. So people turned to the magical spices to strengthen their immunity when death, pain, and suffering in the form of COVID-19 were knocking at the door. Herbal teas with ginger, milk with turmeric, steam inhalation with eucalyptus oil, ashwagandha, mulethi, cloves, peppercorn were taken for general well-being during the pandemic, running parallel to the novel that I was reading. And incidentally, at this time, there was no access to restaurants. Swiggy and Zomato were not supplying anything. So people started eating home cooked, well-balanced, nutritious meals. It is at this time that we realize the importance of mental well-being as we connect it to our friends and families to feel that we are not alone. The next one, please. I've already talked about the magic of spices as curative. We go on. Yeah. The novel, The Mistress of Spices, also talks about social and economic issues like domestic violence, racial intolerance, gender discrimination. Similarly, COVID-19 brought systemic inequalities into sharp focus. The untold misery of the migrant laborers, the lack of funds, joblessness, the digital divide that led to many dropouts from schools and colleges were a result of the pandemic. The social fault lines were exposed. The next one, please. To sum up, my experience during the pandemic has been one of realization that nature and humans are intricately interconnected. We need to lead a simple life in harmony with nature. Next comes the awareness about health. We needn't rush to get over-the-counter medicines for every malady. Nature has cure for all ailments. We just need to synchronize ourselves with it. Collaborative action and behavioral change are the order of the day if we want a better tomorrow. We must also have an inclusive approach to development and progress where everyone's rights gets protected and promoted. No one gets left behind. So the pandemic helped me personally to find joy in ordinary things, to appreciate what I had once taken for granted. So like Dickens had said, it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Thank you so much for your time and patience.
Thank you, Atis.